Abdurrahman Mohammed is my name, and here we we do hatching and then rearing as well. We hatch guinea fowls and any other bird. That's what we do here. Okay, rearing is something I love to do. And my first guinea fowl, we get it from Belgium. That means we have to buy. And then buying too was expensive. I think that time a day-old bird was 60 to 50 pesos. Then we still have to pay TNT to our organizer, the one who organized it for us. So, and then because of the cost involved in bringing the day-old from Belgium, that was why we happened to build our own incubator so that we can cut down that cost and then the rearing moves on. Yes, we built it. Yeah, I built it personally myself. I built it. The wiring, ranging for everything of it. So whenever it has a problem, I don't need to call somebody.
So tell us how you do it.
It's a long story. But the short of it is because as the cost was too much on us, we were just looking at the very possible means to cut down the cost of getting the day old. That is why. Okay, as the cost involved in bringing the day old all the way from Belgium, I thought it wise to let something work for me. That is to build my own incubator. How do I do that? My grandfather used to use the ordinary pot that they put water to drink. He will put a lantern in there together with the eggs. Then for 7 days, he will remove the lantern together with the eggs and then observe the eggs that are formed by way of, showing it to the sun. You show the eggs to the sun with your hand like this. Then if it is forming, you will know. That is, the olden type of, kindling now. We do kindling. So that was how my grandfather used to do it. Then I thought I can also direct myself in that angle by way of maybe using a cardboard to replace the pot, then an onion bulb to replace the lantern. That is heating system. That I get my heating system then. There is now left with me, because I'm going to do a large number, because the maximum my grandfather could do is 20, 50, but I want to do in thousands. So I have to get something that I can put in place to represent my grandfather's own, but in a large form. So that is how I get to manufacture the incubator, or construct it myself. Yes. So with the incubator, with my own, you have to get a thermometer. That is to check your temperature in the incubator, because every incubator should have a thermometer which will give you a maximum of 37.5 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 36.5 degrees Celsius. So I have to get my thermometer. So there is thermometer in my incubator. Then I have a digital one too. That one will check for humidity. So everything of that sort is in my incubator. Yeah. Because thermometer is something that deals with the mercury. Any thermometer that the mercury is no more there, then that means it's not going to function. any thermometer should have a mercury. So I'm yet to get my own thermometer that I can say the incubator is completely manufactured by me. Yes. By God's grace, it was fine. It was fine. By then, the humidity was my problem, because sometimes when the humidity is too high, the hatching delays. When it is too low too, other eggs that are not yet well developed, you see them coming out. Sometimes they'll come out there, you see the intestines. That's fast hatching. So you have to keep it from ranging from 50 to 60 to 65%. That's the humidity. So that one was a challenge, but now I've overcome it. Yes, I've overcome that. Cost effective, I would say mine is best, because this one you don't need any complex thing to do it. You don't need any complex thing. What I mean by complex thing is like the metal type of thing. We use cardboard, the plywood, and that one is in the market. You can buy and also. When this one spoils, you don't need to go to a very high technician to come and work it for you. But whereby you have eggs in there, then that means that your eggs will get spoiled. But this one, when it's spoiled, I know every part of it. When it is not working, I know it's this side. When the heating system is not working, I know where to tackle. When the temperature too is not rising, I know where to tackle. So, for cost effective, I would say you should go for my incubator as well. Okay, the big one is 2,500 capacity, and we have 600 capacity. 1,500 you get 600 capacity, but 3,700 you get the 2,500 capacity. Yes.
So it costs you how much to build it?
That's the figures I've given. The big one here, which takes 2,500 eggs, cost me 3,700 to build. And then the small one, which takes the 600 egg capacity, is 1,500. Yes, because our own is manual incubator. So if you want results, that means you have to work extra harder. That's the only part that is a bit tedious. Because if you want results, like fowl eggs for instance, normally it takes 21 days to hatch. But if you do your turning 5 times a day, it can get 19 days to hatch. Guinea fowl eggs take 26 to 28 days to hatch. If you do your turning well, you will get results earlier than that. Oh, you can get around 25 days, if that is the turning. Because with the automatic turning, the eggs doesn't turn 90 degrees. It turns 45 degrees. But with manual turning, you turn your eggs 90 degrees. That means every bit of the egg is turned. And the development of the embryo in the egg, it goes on well. It doesn't stop growth. It doesn't an issue of fertility. That is where you have your problem. Yes. Because of accuracy, because you need to take some certain measurements. Sometimes you go to where you need to do your cutting of the plywood, maybe power outage. That one you need to sit for a while before the power comes. And sometimes to maybe the person assisting you. The person assisting you is not full-time contract you are into the person. The person is doing something, and then you go in there to say, okay, Charlie, this is my measurement, cut this for me. Sometimes because they don't allow, we send our dimensions, but if you go in there, they will not allow you to use their machine. If I have my cutting machine here, I won't even move anywhere. I will just buy my plywood and then the stuffs, and then I sit here to But because I don't have the cutting machine, I have to go to the carpenters who have the machines. Then I show them my dimension, they cut for me. Then I do the nailing and then the wiring myself. Yes. Okay. As we do hatching, sometimes when you give the day old to some people, they don't know the skills involved in raising them. And that infant stage, they are very, very delicate. Cleanliness is one. So we do the brooding here. If you buy your day-old chick with us, we do the brooding as well. We brood, and then out of every 100, maybe say you won't get any case recorded that mortality. You won't get any case. But for living things, you can't tell. But the maximum you can get out of 100 is two bears. 2 bears you get out of 100. Yes, that's the mortality rate I'm telling you. Out of 100, mortality rate I can assure you maybe is 2. It's 2. I'm a plumber. Yes, I'm a plumber. I do plumbing and I do building as well. So, I do tiling, even some of the carpentry works like this. My pen, I roof everything. Yeah, I roof it. Oh, I completed SHS. Oh, 2011. 2011. Yeah. The number of bears. Currently we have 250. But during the Christmas season, we also send some out. Some will grow, we have to send them out. Currently these ones are laying. We are using the eggs to incubate and then get the younger ones. Yes. Yes, as we all know, education is not something that is, easy, not in terms of the brain, but the monetary aspect of it. There's somebody that will sit back and then watch you go. That's the problem. Some of us, we couldn't get that chance for people to, support us. Well, my father is a farmer. If you go to even ask for 500 Ghana cedi from him for school fees, he will be wild. But after my SHS, because I know I won't have the chance to, go further. So I learned plumbing first. But the problem is I was even doing it before I get to SHS. Then I've seen that as railing is something I love to do, then I have to channel myself and then raise it to the level that I can raise it. So that's why I divert to. But education haven't stopped. I still also want to not to just go for somebody to employ me, but to also study well about what I'm doing. Yes. Because do more than 2,000.
You can just pay like 15,000 a year. So say 5,000 for 3 years because this is a season, but even after that, you still 5,000 a year for 3 years, about 15,000. Just say you do about 5,000 a year, and it's 3 years now. So, just about 2% mortality. That's the brooding.
That's the brooding. For number of eggs being hatched in a year, we hatch up to 5,000. And I've started this hatching business 3 years. So if I want to put it together, that will be 15,000 for now. 15,000. And we are still going. We are still going forward. We are still going forward. My final words, I want to say thank you to. Not supply, but guinea fowl. We want to raise it to a higher level. guinea fowl shouldn't be something that will be a problem for us in Savannah region. We want to make sure that 10 Ghana cedis you can get guinea fowl in Savannah region. Damango to be precise. Because we want to make sure that it's something we will do more than any other bird. So we want people to also give us their helping hand so that we can move forward. Because there is a lot involved in this business. There is a lot. There is a lot.
So, tell us your name and what you do.
Okay, I'm Abdurrahman Mohammed. I do farming, poultry farming to be precise. We rail guinea fowl, turkeys. We have also the 𝐒𝐞𝐜𝐴.
So, let's start. Tell us your name and what you do.
Okay, I'm Abdurrahman Mohammed. I'm a farmer, poultry farmer to be precise. We rail guinea fowls, turkeys, and then local birds as well. We started 2 years ago. Yes, but the cost involved in bringing young ones to rail is a challenge for us. Last year, for instance, when we wanted to get the foreign guinea fowls, it was a challenge for us because we have to pay huge amount of money. A bird was 60 to 50 pesos, aside the transportation. So it's difficult for us to, rail a good number because of the cost involved. So we have designed something that can.
So you were telling me about the challenges you face getting there. Can you throw a bit more light on that?
Yes, because getting the guinea fowls from Belgium, because it's all the way from Belgium that we're getting the young ones from, the guinea chicks. And getting them there is not so easy. Sometimes you have your cash ready, but then they'll tell you they've already booked the number that they want. That time you are disappointed. That's number one. Number two, also to get them from Belgium, you have to even pay. After paying for the birds itself, you have to also pay transportation to your agent. For instance, our agent was in Tamale. You have to move from Tamale to 𝐒𝐞𝐜𝐴 International Airport. Pick the birds there. You have to pay for his transportation. Pick the birds who will cross at 𝐓𝐞𝐜𝐡𝐧𝐢 Junction. He will drop our own there. Then we will go in high taxi or whatever to bring them to your destination. You can imagine the cost. The cost was too huge. It was too huge. Sometimes you will come with the birds. Some of them are tired. A whole lot. You have to put them on glucose for them to regain their energy. Before, if you're not even lucky, you lose a number of them because of the stress. You lose a number of them. So it was really very hard for us. And because of this challenge, even if you want to go in for, a greater number, you'll be afraid. You'll be afraid because you can lose a greater number of them. That will eventually bring down your business. Yes. So
This challenge that you were facing, how did you overcome it?
yes, it was something that was worried to me. I always sit down and then think how I can, get rid of those kind of challenges by, creating something that I myself can, do and then get my own guinea chicks.
Okay, cut.
Yeah, so you were telling me about how difficult it was to get the kerosene.
Yes, kerosene sometimes you go, you will not get simply because nowadays there is electricity everywhere. So selling kerosene is not something that is common. Like my situation, I have to go all the way to Tamale to buy. Sometimes you go to Tamale, you will not get. So I've seen that one also to be, a challenge still for me. Though the kerosene hatching was perfect, and then sometimes a less cost, but it was not working because you go and you won't get. Like if you incubate eggs up to 14 days and then you are short of kerosene, that means that the whole eggs is going to go bad. You won't get anything from it. So I again sat down to, think about how I can develop another method to produce heat, because that time is heat I want. So that was where I get to design the electricity incubator. I moved from the lamp to electricity incubator. And now with the electricity, everything is working, simply because even that if the lights go out, we have petrol generator that will start as a standby to supply current. Yes. So
Tell us more about your electricity incubator, which you developed and designed.
okay, this electricity incubator, that one is something that is very fine because it works well. In here, even with the capacity, you can increase the capacity the way you want. The eggs that you want to hatch, you can increase it because power, heating system wouldn't be a problem for you. Unlike the kerosene incubator. In here, you can monitor your temperature at any time you want, because you can put it even in your bedroom. In your bedroom, you can put it. At any time, you can do whatever you want to do with your eggs. So this one is really working well for us.
So, how many were you hatching with the kerosene incubator, and how many are you able to hatch now with the electricity incubator?
With the kerosene incubator, because getting the kerosene was a challenge also there for us, we feared to incubate more because of the challenge of the kerosene. By then we can hatch up to 200 to 300 birds, guinea chicks. But with this one, you can hatch up to 1,000. This year, for instance, we have hatched more than 1,500, because what I mean is we are keeping 500 here, and we have extended 500 also to some other groups. And the people that also hear about it and come and we hatch for them, for their records is more than 500. But I just want to cut it to 1,500. So it's because it's even a seasonal issue because guinea fowl, they have season. They lay seasonally. But if it were to be fowl eggs, I can tell you all the time we can hatch. At any time at all, we can hatch. So I'm yet to, organize for maybe a group that will come. We come together and then form an association where we can, hatch these local birds, maybe raise them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then we give to others to also raise or to sell.
Somebody might be thinking that if you made this in Demango and then you hatch a bird, it may not be as healthy and grow as big or lay as much as the foreign incubators would do. Do you notice any difference from what you were importing and then what you hatch? What do you have to say about it?
I can tell you, even this incubator that we have here, the best that it brings out is more healthier and stronger than the best we sometimes even bring. The reason why I'm saying this is because, one, we don't have straight issues. Like you take them from, even let's imagine like from Tamale. That means you have to put them in a car. They have to travel. We picked from the incubator to the breeding house. And also, here, we do everything perfect because we disinfect the incubator, we disinfect our eggs, and we make sure that there is no any, disease that comes in here. For so many years, we have nothing like Newcastle or Gumboro because we make sure that we keep our place clean. So any bird that come out from this incubator is more healthier than bringing it from somewhere else. And about the size comes with the feed. If you feed your birds well, they will grow and you will not expect that is the bird. We starve our birds, and then the water intake here, a farmer will just supply, excuse me, once a day. He won't go back to check whether the birds have water or because here we don't have the automatic system of watering, whereby they run the whole day until the overhead water is finished. We supply water manually. You fetch in a container and then the growth of a bird comes with the feed, number one, and the water available for it to take. If you want to even pick birds from Belgium or wherever, of these countries, and you bring them to your pen and then you don't feed them well, they don't get water to drink adequately, they won't grow. They won't grow. So the most important thing is the feed. Your feed should be fine. The water, you make sure that they have enough water to take the whole day, and then you are okay.
So I would think that this thing that you can use to hatch about 1,000 birds at a time, it must cost a fortune.
Oh no, it doesn't cost much. So if you have about 1,000, 200,000, we can do one for you. We can do one for you, and you will not regret. You will not regret at all. We have the time. We can even come to your farm and monitor it for you. If it is not working well, we will make sure that it works for you, because it does work for us. The birds all you are seeing here are from this incubator. They were eggs we just brought in, and then you have seen them like that. Both the turkeys and whatever. They are eggs we brought. When I just ordered the guinea fowl from Belgium and just sell it, that was all. Because it was too much for me. Because buying day old as at the cost of 50 pesos times 150 birds, that was 900 and something. But by the time I would do the transportation and then everything, it was close to 2,000. And the feeding, let's talk about it. So at the close of the day, when they are even mature, they want to sell. We're selling one at 40 cedis because they were big. And people here were not able to buy because they go to market, buy a guinea fowl, 25 Ghana cedis, while yours is 40 cedis. So that alone shifts us from the import guinea chicks to the local one. And the local one, what you have seen is the local breed. It's because of the feed and then the cleanliness and our seriousness. You even notice whether they are, the foreign birds or local birds. So it's really working. If you have 1,000 to 1,000, we can manufacture. We can do one for you, and we'll continue to monitor it for you. Yes.
So a lot of farmers across this country are struggling actually for birds, like we mentioned earlier on, and they have to travel long distances to get birds. Some are struggling, looking for money, more than the amount you mentioned, to get their own incubators. And we know the government is doing a lot with to improve farming. Now we have Rearing for Food and Jobs. Other organizations are out there supporting farmers. You have been able to develop this. So to the government and to other farmers, including NGOs that are into agriculture, especially poultry farming, what do you have to tell them in terms of whether you need some support to be able to do this at a cheaper cost for farmers, and this could be a catalyst to boost Ghana's poultry industry?
Yes, we are ready at any point in time to, manufacture for other farmers to go and start their own, business, to stop them from, all those stragglers. We are ready for them. We can manufacture for them. But then we also need a support from any organization, because it's not going to be easy. If I manufacture this thing for you, also I need to sit you down to tell you certain secrets about it. So in that case, I would say we need to have something like a workshop to train others how they can, control this thing fully. It's not like you're just going to put the eggs in there and go to bed. 21 days is hard. No. There are certain things. Even the big companies we know, they hatch birds. They also have workers there, engineers and whatever. They monitor the eggs from day 1 to 21 days. The same thing to this. But you are free to sit down and then think that it's a machine, they hatch. No. If you go to any hatchery, there are engineers, those who look after the machines, those who look after the eggs, and those who go to even bring the eggs. So we can also have, a workshop to train others so that even to manufacture this. We can train people to manufacture. So we welcome anybody or any organization that is willing to help us to, to also help others and to help ourselves.
Ghana now, the mantra is jobs, jobs, jobs for the youth. This thing, how can it help young people find jobs, livelihoods, and improve their economic life?
Oh, this thing can help a lot because it can create jobs, like for those who we are going to train to manufacture it, to put it together. That's already job. Because if you are manufacturing this thing and you are also selling it, that's job. That's one. Those who also train to, take care of the whole system, because one person cannot manufacture it at the same time taking care of the eggs and whatever. We can also train an expert to also maybe can go around to monitor the eggs. So like if you want to hatch up to 10,000, that means you need more people. You need more people to do the work, because you alone cannot do it. So certainly this thing, it can give job to people. If we get the opportunity, to stand firm, we can also help others to develop. We can help others to develop.
So any final comments?
So maybe if you have any final comments, message you want to give to the viewers about the incubator.
Yeah. Okay. I would say the youth out there, that's why we don't get, maybe if we are not even getting a helping hand, they should come. I'm ready to take anybody through for what I know about this. I can take them through. My doors are open. And we also need support as well, because if the support is there, we can do more than we are doing. There are a whole lot. We can do more than we are doing. If the support is there, we can do more than what we are doing. Like even women, we can even support women. We can raise the guinea chicks 2 weeks, then we hand over to them. Like maybe each woman 50 pieces of birds to also manage. Before you realize, the person will also graduate maybe to 100, on and on. But if the support is not there, we can't do this, because it's not easy. If you want to pay bills alone, it's not going to be easy. So we need support. We need support. And then we welcome anybody that is willing to support us, also to maybe bring some people to us to also train. We welcome anybody that will come. Any organization is welcome to.
My Richard, by now you'll be making plenty money for us to be chopping and you're not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing mic. Are you ready? Okay. Yes. Question number 1.
Tell us about the CREMA concept and its importance to preserving our natural resources.
The word CREMA is an acronym for Community Resource Management Area. The idea of the 𝐓𝐞𝐜 comes from the community-based resource management program that was mainly, especially in Southern Africa, but it was imported into Ghana through the wildlife division. You know, they were having the experience that trying to protect wildlife was very difficult, poachers and so on and so forth. And they thought that maybe if they involved the communities in the management of the resources, if the communities had a say, and they would benefit from the natural resources, then they would take better care and protect the natural resources. So this was the idea of the 𝐓𝐞𝐜 concept that started with the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission. Today, the 𝐓𝐞𝐜 has caught on to be an important, what I'll put, CSO, a civil society organization in the community that has the potential to be democratic, participatory, that people can come in and share their views and be able to plan how to use their resources in a very sustainable manner. In the north, there are a number of communities that have already been gazetted as full 𝐓𝐞𝐜s. Now, the process is when a community agrees to be a 𝐓𝐞𝐜, a group of communities come together and say, we want to manage our own natural resources. They develop a management plan. They do bylaws. They do a constitution and bylaws to protect. What are the bylaws we can use to manage this protected area, this resource that is in our area? Then they get the district assembly to gazette the bylaws. Now, when you have your 𝐓𝐞𝐜 management plan in place, you have your constitution and your bylaws, then you can, through the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission, apply to the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources for a certificate of devolution. Now, the certificate of devolution simply means that the ministry gives the community the power to manage their own resources. So technically, it means that if your 𝐓𝐞𝐜 has a devolution certificate, nobody can come from anywhere and cut wood in your area without permission. Nobody can come from anywhere and burn charcoal in your area or extract any resources without permission. The community now becomes responsible. Now, in order to be able to manage this, there are a number of governance structures. You have the Community Resource Management Committee, which is at the village level. So you can have several community resource management committees within a 𝐓𝐞𝐜. We call them the CMRCs. Then a representative of each of these community resource management committee now goes to be part of the 𝐓𝐞𝐜 Executive Committee. The 𝐓𝐶RIMA Executive Committee is the highest decision-making body that takes decisions through participatory consultations on which area should we identify as our protected area. Which area do we want to use for agriculture? Which area for settlement? Which area for grazing? So through a process of land use planning, the community can come together and decide on these areas. And then they map them out so that everybody knows if you want to farm, this is the way to go. If you are grazing cattle, this is where you go. If you want to build a house, this is where you go. And we believe that the 𝐓𝐞𝐜 model, if properly understood and properly constituted, it can solve a lot of problems for agriculture, sustainable management of resources, and conflict resolution and peace building activities. Our experience working with the 𝐓𝐞𝐜, was mainly on these natural resource management issues. But we also saw that the 𝐓𝐶RIMA could be a great model to use for conflict resolution. For instance, in the 𝐓𝐶RIMA, you could have a committee for mediation. We teach the 𝐓𝐶RIMA executive members negotiation skills, because once you are dealing with natural resources, there are a lot of different interests. How can they negotiate these interests so that the community can live in peace? If you look at most of the communities, they have these Fulani pastoralist issues, farmer herder issues. So imagine the community, through a consultative process, identifies grazing areas, identifies transit routes, so that cattle can go to their water source and come back, go to their grazing source and come back without affecting crops. And where there is, by chance, a crop destruction, there should be a committee in the 𝐓𝐶RIMA that can assess the damage and then assess what reparation needs to be paid. And vice versa, if you destroy somebody's cattle, then there should be this committee to whom you can go and get a sense of justice. So we believe that if all these committees are put in place and the 𝐓𝐶RIMA is functioning well, it can become a great model
first of all, for democratic governance, and secondly, for managing resources in a very sustainable way.
So how can we get this
Well, you start with what we call a community entry. Okay, you first of all go into the community, introduce yourself, introduce the concept, do some basic education. You can use the media, audio visuals, you can do community meetings where you explain to them the concept of the CRIMA and the processes involved. The community will now meet and see, do they want a CRIMA? If they say they want a CRIMA, then okay, we want to help you to start a CRIMA. Then we can now, first of all, through consultations, through discussions, through dialogue, through especially facilitated dialogue, where you have a facilitator that leads the process, come to say which is the area we want to protect, which is the area we want to mark out that the community can take care of. Now, once you have identified this area, you now also do an assessment to see what kind of resource do we have here. So you go to village A and you realize that in this particular area, there are a lot of shade trees. Can we identify that area as a protected area and protect the shade trees so that we can continue to benefit from the shade fruits? If you look at 𝐓𝐞𝐜𝐡𝐧𝐢, for instance, they had hippopotamus. So that's, you identify that area and you protect them. So the community has to identify, number one, the resource that they want to protect, delineate the area of protection. And again, this is not just by a decree, because people have different interests. I want to cut the trees down to burn charcoal. You want to collect share. We need to sit down and talk about the cost benefit and see, how we can come to a kind of an agreement where we can all benefit from the resources. Now, once you then do that and you identify the resource, you now say, okay, what are the laws we put in place for ourselves to manage the resources? When can you enter there to cut firewood? Can you cut firewood there? Can you pick share nuts from the place? Can you drive your goats inside there or not? Let's agree on the do's and the don'ts. Once that is agreed upon, so what is the governance structure? What is the constitution? Who can belong to the CRIMA? Who can opt out of the CRIMA? What arrangements can we make to manage the CRIMA properly? You put all that in your constitution, then your bylaws. Then you now do a management plan. The management plan can be like a 5-year development plan. How do we want to develop our CRIMA? Maybe in this area, all the shade trees have been cut. So part of our management plan in the next 5 years is to replant shade trees. Part of our management plan is to get a dam that can provide water for our cattle. So you discuss with the community and you now develop this management plan. And it's with this management plan, like your strategic plan, that you can now work towards developing your resources. One of the key issues is benefits. Take, for instance, land. When the land is sold, who benefits from the sale of the land? When trees are cut and revenue is paid, who benefits from it? So if I know that by protecting the share tree, if we get good money for our share nuts, it is shared and everybody benefits from it, then I'm going to protect it. But if only a few people are benefiting and I'm not benefiting, then why should I protect it? So if people can benefit from their resources, then they will protect their resources. So it's the community entry, the education, the formation of the CRIMA, putting in place the CRIMA structures, and then when you have all that in place, you now apply to the ministry for a certificate of devolution. And once you receive that certificate, you become a full-fledged CRIMA.